How important is it to be perfectly prepared, both physically and mentally, when you're playing once-in-a-lifetime matches? How important is it to keep your concentration at 100%? Well, if you're not a professional athlete, you probably have heard how essential it is. But after watching this video, you will have a totally different mindset about the significance of concentration and composure in big games. And yeah, the lack of it indeed can ruin careers and dreams. So sit back and enjoy, because today you're gonna witness history. These are the most shocking mistakes in football. Ousmane Dembele versus Liverpool, 2019. Let's start with a mistake that still haunts Barca fans. The year was 2019, a semi-final match between Barcelona and Liverpool at Camp Nou. We've actually talked about this encounter in one of our last videos, but we focused on something positive for their fans, the brilliant Lionel Messi free kick, which honestly is one of the best we've all seen. Now let's head back to that match. Around 10 minutes after this piece of genius by the Argentinian, he could have added an assist as well to his account in that game. Liverpool had a corner kick, and already trailing by 3 goals, the Merseyside had 9 players in or around Barcelona's penalty box. Well, Liverpool failed to take advantage of this dead ball situation, and Barca went onto a counter-attack. Messi had the ball and was one-on-one with Alisson, but decided to pass the ball back to Dembele. The Frenchman made a first-time shot, but it was very, very weak. An easy task for Alisson. Honestly, we wouldn't be far off if we said that a 10-year-old junior player would have shot the ball better. Now, the initial thoughts from Barca fans weren't that disappointing, because at the end of the day, the team won 3-0. But when it comes to the second leg, some fans still have nightmares. Liverpool made a historic comeback, winning 4-0 at Anfield and qualifying for the final. We can only imagine what could have happened if Dembele scored that sitter in the 94th minute at Camp Nou. Romelu Lukaku versus Manchester City, 2023. From a Champions League semi-final, we raised the bar one level. The tournament final in 2023, Inter versus Manchester City. Expectations before the game were almost entirely for a citizens' victory. On the one hand, Pep Guardiola's men were arguably the best team in the world. And on the other, they had played a Champions League final just 2 years prior and had more fresh experience with this squad. For comparison, the last final for Inter was back in 2010. With what both teams showed, however, opinions on the winner have changed during the match. Yes, Manchester City took the lead first, midway through the second half, but Inter had more clear goal-scoring chances, and especially after Lukaku came onto the pitch. The starter in the striker position, Edin Dzeko, suffered an injury, and the big Belgian came on. Well, we witnessed another Lukaku disaster class. I mean, you agree with us, right? Inter had a lot of clear chances to level the game, if it wasn't for Lukaku. He even took the role of a Man City goalkeeper after his teammate Federico Di Marco made a header after a cross, but the ball deflected in Lukaku's foot. Yeah, we can count this as a piece of bad luck. But Lukaku was remembered for ruining another Inter chance. In the 88th minute, the Belgian himself had the opportunity to shoot the ball from a close distance, but the strike was not good enough to impress Ederson. In the end, Man City managed to keep the lead and won its first Champions League title. Kolo Muani versus Argentina, 2022. PSG's new 100 million signing Randal Kolo Muani would probably have been worth at least another 50 on top of those 100 if he hadn't made that mistake against Argentina in the final of the World Cup. Yes, that's right. This miss really took away the dream of about 15 French footballers and more than 65 million French people worldwide. Yeah, we're sure you can guess which miss we're talking about. Maybe we don't even need to remind you, because we're sure that you've watched this grand finale. But for context, let's rewind it anyway. With the score 3-3 in the 120th minute at Qatar's Lusail Stadium, Liverpool defender Ibrahima Konate kicked the ball forward. It fell into the possession of Kolo Muani, who fired a powerful one-touch volley into Argentina's goal. But it went straight at the feet of the onrushing keeper, Emiliano Martinez. An opportunity that every single player on the planet dreams of having in a World Cup final. Yes, unfortunately for Kolo Muani, he got it wrong, and France lost. But it's exactly those misses that distinguish the good from great players. And also, let's be honest, we can't actually judge him. At the end of the day, Kolo Muani wasn't meant to even play at that final. But this ended up happening because of the scandal between Didier Deschamps and Karim Benzema. He didn't have the guts or the composure in that moment, but overall, his performance was great at the tournament. Steven Gerrard vs Chelsea 2014. Disaster, nightmare, shock, disappointment. These are all of the sensations that come into every Liverpool fan's mind when reminded of that game against Chelsea on the 27th of April 2014. The Merseyside was very close to ending their 25-year title drought in that season, and Brendan Rodgers' team was undoubtedly the best in the league, up until that moment. Liverpool were the top of the standings 3 rounds before the end of the 2013-14 campaign, and with a win in that game, would have gone 5 points ahead of second-place Chelsea. Man City was also close, but in third position. Although the match was at Anfield, it proved to be tougher than expected, especially after initial reports of a starting lineup of Jose Mourinho's Chelsea. For the Blues, the game with Liverpool came in the middle between the first and second leg of their Champions League semi-final against Atletico Madrid. The first match ended in a goalless draw, and everyone expected that Mourinho would start his youngsters to give his star players a rest before the Champions League match, given the slim chances for Premier League glory. But it is no surprise to anyone that Mourinho is the special one for a reason, and he started all of his top players from the first minute against Liverpool. That first half was very tight, and then, at the end of it, in the 45th minute, Stevie G found himself in an isolated position in Liverpool's defense. But to go on to shock and surprise everyone, he slipped and gave the ball away to Demba Ba, who ended up scoring one-on-one with the goalkeeper. The Merseyside tried to turn it around in the second half, but a late winner by Willian put things to bed and stole Liverpool's dream for the 19th Premier League title. And by the way, it's no coincidence that we put exactly this title for the video. This incident with Gerrard is proof that such mistakes can change the course of history. Indeed. After the famous slip, Liverpool had to wait 6 more years to win the Premier League title. How cruel is football sometimes? Roberto Baggio vs Brazil 1994. 1994 World Cup, one of the best World Cups of all time. Pure drama, surprising display by underdogs, astonishing performances, beautiful goals, and unprecedented sorrow. This is how people associate the tournament from 30 years ago. Italy's big gun Roberto Baggio started that World Cup slower than expected, as he didn't manage to score a goal in the group stage. However, in the elimination rounds, he scored in all of the matches until the final. 2 against Nigeria, 2 against Spain, and 2 against Bulgaria in the semis. What a wild turnaround. But still, he was the reigning FIFA World Player of the Year and Ballon d'Or holder, so it was rather expected that he would be one of the stars of the tournament. But what happened in that historic 1994 World Cup final? Italy's opponent was Brazil, a team full of iconic players. Romario, Bebeto, Cafu, Dunga. Even the 17-year-old R9 was there. The game, both regular and extra time, ended in a 0-0 draw, and the fans were about to witness the first World Cup final in history, which was on the verge of being decided by penalties. The score there was 3-2 Brazil, and it was Baggio's turn to take a shot. All of Italy was concerned about his upcoming penalty because he was going to take it injured. He took a blow during the game, but coach Arrigo Sacchi decided to not sub him out. Well, this turned out to be a big mistake. Baggio had to score to keep Italy's hopes alive, but he missed by shooting the ball over the crossbar. And thus, Brazil was crowned the champions for the 4th time. And this exact moment was probably the most memorable mistake in football history. Yet more proof that Italy had to wait 12 more years until 2006 to win their 4th World Cup title. Gonzalo Higuain vs Germany 2014. And from one World Cup final disappointment, we move on to another. Argentina had to face the almighty Germany in the final of the 2014 World Cup. Let's set the stage. Historic football country, Brazil. Historic venue, Maracanã. And 2 football giants, which were going to make history. This was also Lionel Messi's first World Cup final. Everyone was watching. The expectations were quite even before the start of the game, maybe with a slight advantage for Joachim Löw's football machine, which had beaten the hell out of Brazil in the semis, eliminating the home side after a memorable 7-1 victory. The final was highly contested right from the start, as expected, and Argentina was the team to have the first big chance in the game. Toni Kroos made a mistake by returning the ball with a header to his teammates. However, the ball fell into Gonzalo Higuaín's possession. The Argentinian striker had all the time in the world to shoot, being one-on-one with keeper Manuel Neuer, but rushed and volleyed the ball out wide to the disappointment of the 40,000 Argentinians in the stadium. A few minutes later, Higuaín managed to score after a brilliant Ezekiel Lavezzi cross, but the striker was in an offside position and the goal didn't count. Then, in the 113th minute, Mario Götze, the substitute, scored an amazing goal, winning Germany its first World Cup title since 1990. Well, what an experience this was, football fans. Unreal football moments, which are going to be remembered for a very long time. Can you think of other similar mistakes or misses that have turned history upside down? Let us know in the comment section. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Footy Flicks so you get notified every time a new video drops.